Hi, welcome to video 3 in the CG Scholar tutorial little series I've created for you. In the first video, we talked about updates, so if you haven't watched that one yet, pop over to video 1. In the second video, we started our discussion about creating projects or research papers, which will be argument-based. And we talked about using the About This Work tab, creating structures, and how you'll actually do the work by getting an invitation. And in this video, we're going to focus on this feedback tab and doing peer review as a part of this process and really as a part of your grade, working together, collaborating, and being able to grow using each other's knowledge, not just my knowledge, but each other's knowledge and experience, okay? So I want to go through the rubric with you. I want to go through what you're going to find on this feedback tab and how you're going to do a peer review. So you will be assigned a peer review about a week after you submit your project. And it is required that you do 2 peer reviews throughout the course of this semester, which is actually less than last semester. But you will also do your peer reviews within Scholar. So when you go to feedback, you're going to see that there is a rubric with expectations built into Scholar to help you understand how you should rate the person who wrote what they wrote. Now, to be very, very fair and clear, your rubric will probably look a little bit different than this one. But just for the sake of, getting you adapted to this platform, you will see under review a rubric with expectations where you will give a rating 0 to 4. 4 being above and beyond excellent, 3 being very proficient, got the job done, 2 being, hey, this skill is developing and I see it, but it's not quite there, and 1 being, this skill isn't really present yet. It's something that you need to look at. So you can do 3 things here. You can go to, there's 2 little tabs, one's in green and one's in gray, and I'm in the one in gray. You can see there under the rubric. So this is the rubric we're using. In order to actually review the work, you're going to go to this review work tab. You're going to give it the rating using the sliding bar. So I could give it like a 3 or a 4 or whatever for each thing. And so there's a checklist. Did they complete all the things they were supposed to complete in this work? How are their references and their citations? How is their communication? Are they clear? Did they communicate the concepts they wanted to communicate, or do they need to work on that? Innovation. How did they adapt, their idea to kind of the world? Like, how did they do the 3rd level connection, right? We talked about 3rd level questions and thinking. Did they think about their topic and how it fits in the world? The application of their topic in the world, also kind of a 3rd level connection. Did they critique? Were they critical of the sources that they worked with? Did they notice issues where the author really doesn't make a strong point? And so did they point that out? And did they point out issues with, counter arguments that they're creating with their argument? How was their reasoning? Did they really understand the concepts well enough to explain them? Theory or theoretical ideas are, when they were reading, did they really understand what was going on behind the scenes with the big ideas? And we'll talk about that a lot more, okay, before you do this peer review. Concepts is really similar to theory. Again, we're going to talk about that together before you do this. Did they show plenty of evidence in their project? And then also, how, this is so important, how did they relate their own experience to, their project and why they wanted to do this project? Why did this project interest them? What's their experience with this topic? Those types of things. So you're going to rate that, and then within this box, you're going to explain why you gave that rating, and you're going to make suggestions of what you think they should change or do differently. So that's one part of the peer review. The second part of the peer review is doing annotations. So it's not going to show me my annotations right now. This is something that we're going to work on in class, but I do want to point it out that there is a button called annotations. There's going to be a drop-down checklist of when you're going through the paper, and when you're going through the paper, and let's say you find a duplicate word, like they put is or something. I would go to create annotation. Oh, I have to select a region of work. Okay, so I would just highlight. That's how I select. I would create an annotation. I could either make a general comment, hey, this sounds bad, or I could suggest a change. What's really helpful about these annotations, okay, and by the way, you need to do 10 total for each peer review you do, for each paper, you need to do 10 annotations. You're going to go through and just look, okay, maybe you want to comment that it's excellent. Great. Comment that it's excellent. Explain why. Perfect. Or you might need to delete a repeated idea, delete unnecessary words. So this kind of cues you to help you understand just exactly what that person needs to do. Maybe their paragraphs would work better in a different order if they address the counterclaim here or there. So you want to reorganize the structure and then explain how in the little box below. Okay, so we'll go over this again, but big picture, I want you to know where to find these tools, how to do the annotations, how to do the reviews, and to review the work. Okay, so these two buttons are really important. And I want you to know that you need to be able to do 10 annotations, okay? And that when you actually review the work, 1 through 4 rating in these areas, you need to be thorough in your explanation in each box. You're looking for about 40 words per box. So not a ton, like caption size, but you want to explain and be specific about what they needed to change. I always find personally when I'm peer reviewing that going through and doing the annotations first, just going through and finding those problems, then going to the reviews and reviewing the work is a lot easier than trying to review the work first, then going back and looking at the details. So that's my big piece of advice. We will talk about this a lot more as we get into these projects, but this is just a general tutorial of the expectation and how to do it.